Today, we're diving into a truly captivating and perplexing subject, what the world was like before the Great Deluge. Have you ever paused to consider the lives of those who walked the earth before that monumental catastrophe reshaped human history forever? What was their climate like? Their geography, their culture, religion, technology, morality, and spiritual beliefs? What was the world like before God unleashed the flood to purify it of sin? In this video, we'll uncover some remarkable facts and enduring mysteries about the antediluvian world, drawing insights from the Bible and other historical and scientific sources. Stick around until the very end, because what you discover might just astonish you. Before we begin, I'd love for you to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss out on our future videos. And please, share this with your friends so they too can explore this incredible topic. Let's get started. The first crucial aspect of the world before the flood is just how profoundly different it was from our own, especially concerning to human lifespans. Did you know people lived dramatically longer before the flood than afterwards? Indeed, the Bible reveals that the patriarchs of that era often lived for hundreds, even close to 1,000 years. For instance, Adam, the first man, lived 930 years. Seth, Adam's son, lived 912. Methuselah, Noah's grandfather, reached an astonishing 969 years, making him the oldest man on record. And Noah himself, the central figure of the flood narrative, lived to be 950. But why such extraordinary longevity before the flood? While several theories exist, a widely accepted one suggests the Earth's environment was far more conducive to human life. A protective layer of water vapor is believed to have enveloped the planet, shielding it from harmful solar radiation and fostering a uniformly temperate and humid climate across the globe. This vapor canopy, it's theorized, shattered during the flood, unleashing the torrential rains that submerged the Earth. Post-flood, the climate shifted dramatically, becoming colder and drier, and increased solar radiation began to impact human health, thus shortening lifespans. Another stark difference in the pre-flood world was the direct interaction between the divine and humanity. The Bible tells us that God communicated personally with individuals like Adam, Eve, Cain, Abel, Enoch, and Noah, offering them guidance, warnings, promises, and blessings. He also judged and disciplined them when they strayed. Furthermore, the Bible recounts a perplexing union before the flood between the sons of God and the daughters of men, resulting in a race of giants known as the Nephilim. The identity of these sons of God and daughters of men, and the Nephilim themselves, sparks much scholarly debate. However, a common interpretation posits that the sons of God were fallen angels who rebelled against God, descending to earth to procreate with human women, the daughters of men. This unholy alliance produced the Nephilim, hybrid beings, with both human and angelic traits, infamous for their immense strength, stature, and pervasive wickedness. These beings contributed significantly to the violence and corruption that plagued the earth, ultimately incurring God's wrath and his judgment upon humanity. But who were these fallen angels, and what ignited their rebellion against God? To grasp this, we must journey back to a time before Earth's creation. The Bible tells us that before the earth existed, there was God, in majestic unity with his Son, Jesus. God also created the angels, spiritual beings who worshipped and served him. Among them, one angel shone above the rest in beauty, intelligence, and power, Lucifer, whose name means morning star. He was the anointed cherub, his wings covering God's throne. He was the leader of the angels, with direct access to God's presence. Yet he grew discontent with his exalted position, yearning to be equal to God. Consumed by pride, envy, and ambition, he swayed a third of the angels to join his rebellion against God. He sought to usurp God's place and demand worship from all creation. But God, sovereign and omnipotent, would not permit this. He cast Lucifer and the rebel angels from heaven, banishing them to earth. Lucifer then became known as Satan, meaning adversary, and the rebel angels became demons. 2. Evil spirits under Satan's command. This pivotal event marked the dawn of city's spiritual warfare, a ceaseless conflict between two opposing kingdoms, the kingdom of God and the kingdom of Satan. When God created the earth and placed man and woman upon it, made in his image and likeness, Satan perceived this as a golden opportunity to exact revenge on God and utterly destroy his creation. He viewed earth as his domain and Adam and Eve as intruders. He cunningly used the serpent as one of God's most subtle creatures to deceive the woman, tempting her to doubt God's word. He whispered that if she ate from the forbidden fruit, she would become like God, knowing good and evil. Seduced by Satan's lie, the woman ate the fruit and offered it to the man by her side. They disobeyed God, sinning and severing their communion with him and their pristine innocence. They also relinquished their authority over the earth, effectively handing it over to Satan, who then became the prince of this world. From that moment on, sin entered humanity, ushering in death, pain, suffering, disease, violence, injustice, oppression, and rebellion against God. The story of humanity thus became a saga of fall and redemption, conflict and hope, judgment and grace. One of the earliest illustrations of this saga involved Cain and Abel, sons of Adam and Eve. Though brothers, their attitudes towards God differed profoundly. Abel, a shepherd, presented God with the finest animals from his flock as a sacrifice. Cain, a farmer, offered fruits of the earth, but without the same devotion. God favored Abel and his offering, but not Cain's. This ignited Cain's rage and jealousy. Unwilling to accept God's correction, he murdered his brother Abel in the field. God, omniscient and just, witnessed Cain's heinous act and called him to account. When God asked Cain where Abel was, Cain responded with arrogant falsehood, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" Then God declared to Cain, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the earth, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth." Cain lamented to God, "My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me today from the face of the ground, and from your face I shall be hidden. I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." But God intervened, "Not so. If anyone kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold." And the Lord set a mark on Cain, so that no one who found him would strike him down. Then Cain departed from the Lord's presence and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain, despite being a murderer and a fugitive, was not without descendants. He married a woman, likely one of his sisters or nieces, as Adam and Eve had many sons and daughters after Cain and Abel. Cain fathered Enoch and founded the first city in history, naming it after his son. This demonstrates Cain's surprising skills in construction and organization. Cain's lineage expanded and diversified, with certain individuals achieving notable feats. Jabal became the progenitor of those who live in tents and raise livestock. Jubal was the forefather of all who play the harp and flute. Tubal-Cain was a master craftsman in bronze and iron, and Naamah was the only woman mentioned in Cain's line. These descendants of Cain show humanity's growth and diversification, as roles transformed into professions and civilization began to take shape. Yet they also illustrate humanity's increasing drift away from God, surrendering to idolatry, violence, and immorality. The Bible reveals that Lamech, a descendant of Tubal-Cain, was the first polygamist, taking 2 wives, Adah and Zillah. He was also a boastful murderer, declaring his cruelty. "Listen to my voice, you wives of Lamech. Give ear to my speech. I have killed a man for wounding me, a young man for striking me." If Cain's revenge is 7-fold, then Lamech's is 77-fold. Genesis 4:23-24. Meanwhile, Adam and Eve had another son named Seth, meaning substitute. They gave him this name because he came as a replacement for Abel, whom Cain had murdered. Seth's lineage included Enos, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and finally Noah. This is the lineage of the sons of God, those who walked with God and worshipped him, a stark contrast to the lineage of the sons of men, who rebelled against God and held him in contempt. Among the sons of God, one man's faith and obedience shone brightly. Enoch. The Bible tells us that Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Enoch, Noah's great-grandfather, lived in an era when most people were simply recorded by their birth and offspring. Yet, Enoch left a unique testimony, remembered, for his profound communion with God. The Bible also states that Enoch prophesied about God's impending judgment on the wicked and truly pleased God with his unwavering faith. He was the first human to be taken up by God, serving as a powerful example of how we should live in this world, seeking God and diligently doing his will. But Enoch was a rare exception in a truly wicked generation. The Bible paints a grim picture of the world before the flood, depicting it as dominated by greed, pervasive evil, and widespread betrayal. Families became battlegrounds, and neighbors ruthlessly exploited one another. The earth, in God's sight, was utterly corrupt and overflowing with violence. Every inclination of human thought was continually evil. God witnessed the alarming escalation of human wickedness on earth and saw that all flesh had corrupted its way. He was deeply grieved in his heart and regretted having made humanity. He resolved to wipe out every living thing from the face of the earth, man, animals, creeping things, and birds of the air. Yet amidst this universal corruption, one man found favor in the eyes of God: Noah. Noah was described as righteous and blameless among his contemporaries, and he too walked with God. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. God chose Noah to be the guardian of a new beginning for humanity and entrusted him with a monumental mission to build an ark to save his family and a representative selection of animals from the impending flood. The ark was a magnificent vessel, meticulously designed by God to withstand the overwhelming waters. It measured 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. A cubit, approximately 18 inches, means the ark was about 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. It featured 3 decks, with numerous internal compartments and a single window at the top, 1 cubit high. It had a side door that only God himself could open and close. Constructed from gopher wood, a durable and waterproof timber, it was sealed with pitch both inside and out to prevent any leaks. Its immense capacity was estimated to house around 40,000 animals of various species, along with enough food and water for them and Noah's family. It was truly a marvel of naval engineering and a profound symbol of God's grace and mercy. Noah dedicated approximately 120 years to building the ark, diligently following God's precise instructions. Throughout this extended period, he also served as a preacher to his contemporaries, warning them of the coming flood and urging them to repent. But no one heeded Noah's warnings. They continued living their lives as if nothing out of the ordinary would ever happen. They ridiculed Noah, dismissing him as a madman and a fanatic. They refused to believe that God would judge the world with water, especially since it had never rained on the earth before. They remained oblivious that the fountains of the great deep would burst forth, and the windows of the heavens would open, causing waters to cover the entire earth. They didn't realize that the day of the Lord would arrive like a thief in the night, catching them completely by surprise. They failed to grasp that there was only one path to salvation: to enter the ark by faith. Finally, the appointed day arrived. God commanded Noah, "Go into the ark, you and your entire household, for I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean animal you shall take 7 pairs, male and its mate, and of the animals that are not clean, 2, male and its mate. Also of the birds of the sky, 7 pairs, male and female, to keep seed alive on the face of all the earth. For in 7 days I will cause it to rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and every living thing that I have made I will blot out from the face of the earth." Genesis 7:1-4. Noah faithfully obeyed God, entering the ark with his family and all the animals God had commanded him to bring. He was 600 years old when the floodwaters engulfed the earth. On the very day God had appointed, the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of the heavens were opened. It rained on the earth for past 40 days and 40 nights. The waters surged and swelled dramatically over the earth, and the ark floated effortlessly on the surface of the waters. The waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, covering all the highest hills beneath the entire sky. 15 cubits higher did the waters prevail, and even the mountains were submerged. Every living creature that moved on the earth perished. Birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures that swarmed over the earth, and all mankind. Everything on dry land that possessed the breath of life in its nostrils died. Thus, every living thing was wiped from the face of the earth, from man to animals, from creeping things to the birds of the sky. They were utterly blotted out from the earth, and only Noah remained, along with those who were with him in the ark. Genesis 7:11-23. Noah and those inside the ark were cut off from the drowned world for 150 days, while the waters covered the earth. But God did not forget Noah. He caused a wind to sweep over the earth, and the waters slowly began to recede. The fountains of the deep and the windows of the heavens were sealed, and the torrential rain from the sky was halted. The waters steadily diminished from the earth, and after 150 days, they had lessened. The ark finally came to rest in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, on the Siu mountains of Ararat. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month. On the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains became visible. Genesis 8:1-5. Noah waited another 40 days, then opened the window he had made in the ark. He sent out a raven which flew back and forth until the waters had completely dried up from the earth. Next, he sent out a dove to ascertain if the waters had receded from the surface of the ground. But the dove found no place to rest its foot, and returned to him in the ark, for the waters still covered the entire surface of the earth. He reached out his hand, took the dove, and brought it back into the ark. He waited another 7 days, and again sent out the dove from the ark. The dove returned to him in the evening, and there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. By this, Noah knew that the waters had indeed receded from the earth. He waited yet another 7 days and sent the dove out one last time, but this time it did not return to him. Genesis 8:6-12. Then Noah removed the covering of the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry. In Noah's 601st year, in the 1st month, on the 1st day of the month, the waters were dried up from the earth. Noah removed the covering of the ark, and observed that the surface of the earth was dry. And in the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was completely dry. Then God spoke to Noah, saying, "Go out from the ark, you and your wife, your sons and your sons' wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing that is with you of all flesh, birds and animals and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, that they may swarm on the earth and be fruitful and multiply on the earth." So Noah went out, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him. Every animal, every creeping thing, every bird and whatever moves on the earth according to their families went out of the ark. Genesis 8:13-19. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took some of every clean animal and some of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, "I will never again curse the ground because of man, for the inclination of man's heart is evil from youth, nor will I ever again strike down every living creature as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease." Genesis 8:20-22. And God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. The fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every bird of the heavens, upon everything that creeps on the ground, and all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you, and as I gave you the green plants, I give you everything. But you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. And for your lifeblood I will require a reckoning. From every beast I will require it, and from man. From his fellow man I will require a reckoning for the life of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image. And you, be fruitful and multiply, teem on the earth and multiply in it." Genesis 9:1-7. And God declared to Noah and to his sons with him, "Behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your offspring after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the livestock, and every beast of the earth with you, as many as came out of the ark. It is for every beast of the earth. I establish my covenant with you, that never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of a flood, and never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth." And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant that I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all future generations. I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth, and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you, and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. The bow shall be in the clouds, and I will look upon it to remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth." And God said to Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant that I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth." Genesis 9:8-17. The rainbow stained dance stands as the enduring symbol of God's covenant with Noah and all creation. It serves as a powerful reminder of God's unwavering faithfulness and profound goodness, a sign that he never abandons humanity, but instead offers a fresh opportunity to begin anew. It's a solemn promise that God will never again devastate the world with water, but will perpetually preserve life on earth. It embodies the hope that God has a divine plan to restore all things, and that one day he will make everything new. It is a testament to God's boundless grace, for he loved us so deeply that he sent his Son, Jesus Christ, who is the very rainbow of our salvation. And so concludes the story of the flood, giving way to the unfolding narrative of Noah and his descendants who repopulated the earth and formed nations. But that, my friends, is a story for another time. Please share your thoughts on this video's topic in the comments below, always respecting everyone's perspectives. I truly hope you found this video insightful. If you valued this content, please consider supporting me by subscribing so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Share this video with your family and friends, give it a like, and leave your opinion in the comments. Your engagement helps this video reach more people, and together we can illuminate more minds and deepen our understanding. Thank you for being here, and may God bless you.